When we return, mothers caring for mothers and fathers, the story of a generation caught in the middle. Sons and daughters are feeling the squeeze as parents live longer and their children have children later in life. Our society is seeing a new minority group. Brian Mortensen found two women caught in the sandwich generation.
Breakfast comes early at the Pedregon house. Irene's husband leaves for work before sunrise. And then 10 children have to get ready for school.
Get out of the boys' room. 4. All right, 4. Come on. Come on.
Irene makes sure everyone gets off to the right start. And thrown into the morning mix, Manny Sr. He suffered a stroke a few years ago, and he's lived with his son's family ever since.
I'll never finish with this house. I always think of ideas to expand or decorate, or the only thing I don't do is overhaul cars.
At the Pategno house, the numbers are smaller, but the scenario much the same.
Grandma, do you want to come and eat?
Christine Pategno left her job to care for her grandmother and her 2-year-old son, Ryan. Christine and Irene are part of a growing minority in our state. Women leaving the workforce, staying at home, or their new full-time jobs are caring for family members at opposite ends of the age scale.
Is it easier or harder than you expected it to be?
Harder. I thought it would be a piece of cake, and it was for the beginning time. And then as you do it, the same thing over and over every day, it's really easy to get burned out.
I remember when I had my first child, I thought, oh, it's going to be so rough. And then when I was expecting my second, 2.5 years later, I thought I'd never make it. You know, I don't see how people can do it with 2 or 3 kids, you know. And it just, I don't know, my husband and I are so much alike that it made it easier.
A geriatric resource.
These women are part of a generation caught in the middle. They decide to devote their lives to their families, but experts say without time away for themselves, the caregivers end up giving too much.
And that's particularly strong in those families where it's a middle-aged caregiver, and it's almost always a female. Women provide the care in our society. And where it's an older parent, frail or chronically ill, who requires a fair amount in the way of both practical and emotional assistance, and where also there is a child still living at home.
I can't just take care of them physically. I have to, you know, be there emotionally, and I have to make sure that they don't get bored, and you know, it's a lot of responsibility.
As our population ages, more families will be taking on the care of aging relatives. But it's happening at a time when experts say the number of programs to help ease the load is shrinking.
As a country, we're all living longer, and there are a greater number of older individuals, an ever-increasing number, especially in states like Arizona. And we're also seeing, because of economic changes within the country, individuals who are having their own children at a later age, and so more families are likely to have adult children or teenage children still living in the home at the time when their own parents are requiring additional assistance.
Here's the baby Kelsey.
Irene and Christine say being a full-time caregiver is not an easy job, but it's worthwhile.
The benefit is that I'm home and I can spend time with my son, and I can spend time with my grandmother that I never could before. And my grandmother, you know, gave me a lot when I was growing up. And, you know, I'm happy that there's something that I can do in return. Of course, I can't do as much as she did for me, you know, but at least I can do something.
I would worry if he was somewhere else and someone else taking care of him, not getting the proper care, knowing that he wanders off or he forgets things, and I don't know, As a matter of fact, it's not a strain having him here. It's better for us. I think he fills a gap because the children need him, you know, just as much as we do.
It does take a special commitment. I don't think, you know, anybody could do it as long as they had their mental health and they had a lot of love to give, because it takes a lot of love.
I'm going to say bye to Big Bird. Bye.